One, two, three, and the place to be is KAY dash to the D. I'm Kahari, and the place to be. Glad to see you here on YouTube today. I had a couple things I want to share with you, and that's going over signal v noise, how to tell your story in a noisy social media world. And this is aimed to photographers. Part one of signal versus noise. It's a 5-part series. The first part about it is the signal. The signal, that's positive energy. Action that gives value, information, uplifting, laughter, bringing smiles at the least. A signal is your story. A signal is your authenticity. A signal is whatever medium that you choose to captivate the audience that you're listening to bring a positive effect. Whether it's relieving pain, relieving hardship, whether it's just sharing an art, whether it's sharing a talent, but there's always a message behind the meaning or the means. There's always a message behind it. There's always something that's building you and bringing you a peace. That's what a signal really, really is, and that's the ideal of the signal versus noise. I try to live that with myself with every project I take, every picture that I post online, every beacon of information that I send out to the world. That's a true signal, a beacon. You are a beacon. You are sending something out into the world, whether it's positive vibes, whether it count for you or whether it count against you. Either way, when you speak and you put something out online, it is vibrating throughout the cosmos, as they say. And it's going to reach its intended person. That's why I tell artists, I can remember one time I was talking to a guy. I took a plane. I took a plane to Baltimore. That's where I was at. And I went to go rent my car. And so homeboy asked me, yo, man, what you do? And I'm like, oh, man, I'm just here to visit my mom. I heard she's sick. So I was talking to homeboy, and, you know, we started rapping, talking, blah, blah, blah. And then he told me that he was a rapper. And I said, oh, word, man. I said, you know, keep doing what you do. And I said to this young man, I said, you know, because you never know. As long as you're putting a positive message to me, he sound positive. And he's like, he didn't really say anything at this point. And I was like, just put a positive message out there, man. Put a signal out. You be that signal. Because even if you're reaching 3 people, 4 people, that's 4 people in the world that needed you, man. That needed your music, that needed your signal that you provided, that needed your direction, needed your way. And you were that beacon that helped keep them alive. And, you know, God could reward you for that potentially, you know, if your intentions are in the right place or what you're doing. And homeboy looked at me in amaze. He was like, yo, because I was just thinking about giving up today because people don't feel the type of music or XYZ, blah, 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 blah. I want to get into it. But he was just saying the genre or the way that he was going, he wasn't really feeling it. And he felt like giving up. And I said, bro, that's when you have a signal. When you have a constant group of people that's locked into you, your obligation is to them and you want to stick with it. Me conveying that to this man right here, this signal that I, you know, was explaining to him that he was giving out to his audience was worth the investment that he was putting out to the world. Long story short, he ended up giving me like $75 off my entire rental, which is amazing because that was almost like $100 that he dropped off the car and he didn't have to. It was just good vibe, a genuine vibe that I was just giving that young man right there. Like, boom, this belongs to you. Boom, this your piece of pie. And we gave it to that man and that man accepted it. So this is signal. So anything positive that you're pointing out to the world because you're going to yield a return, your signal and the things that you put out there. So remember that it's a seed that you plant, that you put out, and it's going to produce 1 or 2 fruits. It's a pineapple that Muslims know as a zakum, because it's mentioned in the Quran. It's like a fruit of hell. The descriptions that I heard of it reminds me of a pineapple. So I use this analogy together. Either way, you got to eat from the time that you invested. And there's no such thing as investing in nothing, because nothing is a planting a seed of a zakum, not planting a seed of a pineapple for you to harvest and eat fresh fruit and keep yourself going forward. And that's what creators fall into. I know me personally, I fall into that realm of questioning myself, in that dark place of not creating stuff. When I go into my Instagrams and my YouTubes and I compare myself to the world. But then my moment of clarity comes upon me when people come to me and say, hey man, I seen this Quran video you did. Hey man, I seen this other video you did. Because most of the videos that I do put out there is of the Islamic content. It's not of like photography as I would like to put out there, but I don't want to just put any signal out there. I want stuff that goes and matters and transforms lives. And this Signal versus Noise project is the convergence of my thinking and my creativity to produce to you guys a creative way of thinking about life and your art in a new way. And this is just part one of this series. If you have any questions about Signal, please, let's jump into it. I would love to start a group about it. I would love to make this a big thing, because this, I believe, honestly, has always been my legacy work, is to teach photography in a new way. And if, for me, photography is not just snapping pictures, it's a way of life. Just like rappers, and you got hip hop. Rap is something you do. Hip hop is something you live. Photography is something that I live. I started on digital cameras, and now I'm going back into film because I want to master like the masters mastered when it comes to writing with light, with a, process. And I want to tell a story at the same time. Anyway, this is a long one. Signal versus Noise. This is part one. This is about Signal. How to tell your story in a noisy social media world. I'm Kahari D, in the place to be. Glad you're rocking with me. Subscribe to me. Peace.